Keeping on the Metro Nui theme, I'm showing my next 2003/Metro Nui revamp of the Vaki. So, time to show off the Vaki that Dana Talvik, built. I'm pretty proud of this design. Granted, it doesn't have one of the Vaki's actual cutter blades. Instead, it has the Hordika slash Rahaga slash Agori flame blade piece. At least I think slash Agori, because I'm pretty sure that's where I got mine, was from an Agori set. But I might be wrong about that. And it could have actually come from a Rahaga that we since lost the mask, the head for. But here is the Vaki that I made. Now, one thing that probably will annoy some purists or whatever for Bionicle stuff is that I have the wrong color headpiece here. I should use the green one, I think. But there is a reason I didn't do that. And the reason is, I think it's dumb that the red Vaki has a green helmet. Because that just seems dumb to me. So I used the red one. The other reason that I did that is I used the green one on my Nidiki build that I did, which I will show in a later video. Not the next one, because that build is significantly more complicated, and I want each video to be slightly more complicated until we get to like my most complicated builds or whatever, or just my largest builds. So I want to go up in scale / complexity each video rather than just sticking to this is a specific theme. So this is the Vaki that I built. I'm pretty proud of it. If I built it again, I would probably give it symmetrical arms, and both of them would be the flame blades. But one, I don't have all the pieces for that. And two, I kind of like the asymmetry. Normally, I'm not a fan of asymmetry. I hate asymmetry on a lot of things because it's like, then I have to buy two of the thing to make it look the way I want. But since I built this myself from scratch, and since I wanted to keep the Vaki arm piece on a Vaki that I built, I'm fine with it. Also, the Vaki are supposed to be like police, so it'd be kind of weird if all they had were grabby claws instead of having a normal hand that can interact with stuff. Now let's get a better look at the build. So first, the neck piece is built out of two hand pieces connected by a red axle. And the reason it's that instead of the actual just double female connector pieces is I used all of my ones of those by the time I built this Vaki. This is actually one of my most recent builds. So since I used all of those, but I still needed to connect a ball joint to a ball joint, I just made one using two hand pieces. For the head, it is using the red Vaki connector piece being connected by a gray axle, and then this yellow piece, and then through a red axle, and then a black pin, I connected these Glatorian shin armors to extend the head and make it kind of like a xenomorph queen or whatever. The torso armor is achieved through this black double connector piece connecting into a Vaki waist that's connected into two Vaki torsos to make the shoulder pads. And then this shoulder is made by two hand pieces connected by a pin, and then a visor piece, and then the blade, where the other shoulder is just made using standard CCBS style connection. The legs have a pin on the back of them to cover up the back of the leg, and then the back is made using a Glatorian neck piece, Glatorian head, a helmet from one of the Glatorian. Actually, no, it's from an Agori set, but a Glatorian also has that helmet. And then a small piece in this to just complete the cover of the back. And then it uses Rahaga feet. And no, those weren't Vaki feet, those are Rahaga feet. So it uses feet from a Rahaga. I don't know if I actually got these feet from a Rahaga set or not, because any sets that I own the parts of before 2009, I do not know where they come from. Actually, before 2008. So I think the earliest set that I own is a Gali from 2008. But most of the sets I remember where things are from 2009 onwards, because that's when my memory is good. Anytime before that, my memory is incredibly spotty, and even recent memories are really spotty, so. But that, oh right, articulation, I almost forgot. So the shoulder pads are on ball joints. The neck has 2 ball joints, one at the base, one at the actual headpiece. The shoulder ball joint, hinge. Legs are ball joint, hinge, ball joint. And then the other shoulder is ball joint. So that goes through everything from my Vaki build. I gotta say, I'm pretty proud of this, and if I had the parts, I would love so much to remake every single Vaki with just this style build, but then like a different hand piece here. Because that would be cool. I really want to have like a collection of Vaki, even if it's just the original Vaki build. I want to have all the Vaki, because the Vaki are like my favorite villains of Bionicle, because they're not evil. They're just tools, and it's just whoever's in control of them is what makes them evil. So that's why I find them interesting, because they're not deliberately evil. They only do bad acts in the story because they're being controlled by a bad actor. They're just a tool. They're not like characters, which is why I think they're cool. Anyway, see you in the next video, where we look at my Pohatu revamp, which I think you'll find pretty interesting.